Hi. In this clip from our Google PPC Ads webinar, we will continue talking about how to set up a campaign and how marketing, targeting, and converting are key to setting up a successful campaign. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
All right, so now that we have the keywords all squared away, let's move on to the next topic, which is bidding strategies. So this is, probably one of the more complex topics. There's a lot to unpack here. We could definitely have a presentation just on the different bidding strategies. We're not going to do that today, but what we're going to do is just kind of give you a general overview of things. And ultimately, these strategies just vary depending on how manual or automatic you want the bidding to be. So the first one here is a manual bidding strategy. This is manual cost per click. So this can be really great for people who are, maybe just starting out. They're trying to get the hang of Google Ads and how things work. Main benefit here is you can set up a maximum cost per click for your campaign. And that basically helps control the max bid that you're willing to pay. Something to think about, though, is it does require a lot of time to manage all of these bids for all your keywords. So depending on, how big the campaign is, this might not be something that is feasible or scalable as the campaign grows. So something to think about there. And this is sort of where the automated bidding strategies come into play. Now, there's 9 of these bidding strategies, 5 of which are considered smart bidding. So what do we mean when we say smart bidding? We're referring to these automated strategies that use advanced machine learning, and it's going to help to optimize your campaign performance for a particular goal. So Google's algorithm uses what's known as auction time signals. These are a lot of different things. It could be the location of the user, the device they're using, the browser, a bunch of other things as well. We don't get all of that data from Google, but you can only, take advantage of that data if you use a smart bidding strategy. So we have a breakdown here of all those different strategies. You don't need to worry about all of them. We're just going to highlight the 3 that you should care about. The definitions are fairly straightforward for each of them, though. Fairly, what you would expect based on, the name of the bidding strategy. So to first, highlight the first one here, we have maximize clicks. This is going to help you get the most clicks for your budget. Now, this is just a regular automated strategy. It's not a smart bidding strategy. But it can be a great starting point, especially for a new campaign. Maybe you're trying to build volume, when you're just starting out, and this can kind of help set you up for using a, smart bidding strategy in the future. If that's something you might want to do, you do definitely need that volume. So with that being said, the next one that we wanted to highlight is maximize conversions. So this is, a strategy that's going to help you get the most conversions for your budget. We do tend to like this one a lot. We use it for a lot of our campaigns. The, strategy here is going to optimize you to get the most conversions possible for your given budget. And as you mentioned before, you really only want to enable this strategy, and really any smart bidding strategy, but this one in particular, you need to have significant conversion volume first. So generally, this is going to mean 15 to 30 conversions a month minimum. Google really needs this data in order to feed their algorithm. If you don't have that volume quite yet, you should probably, utilize a different strategy first. Maybe stick with maximize clicks a little longer, just because the strategy is probably not going to work as well if you go in too soon. The last one we wanted to highlight is maximize conversion value. So, rather than just maximizing for the number of conversions, this is going to be helping you maximize for conversions that, are more valuable based on different values that you assign. So as an example, maybe you want to give phone call conversions a higher value than contact form conversions. So you could do that. And in that scenario, their system would, optimize to where you would, ideally be getting, clicks from people who they believe are higher probability of calling you versus submitting a form. And they use all of their auction time signal information to help with determining that. Now, major, disclaimer here, I would not use this for, a smaller campaign. It's really only meant for very large campaigns where you have a lot of data for Google. Typically these are going to be, the campaign spending upwards of 30K a month. Probably wouldn't work well, again, with those smaller campaigns. You just don't probably have the volume that would be needed. So you can see all these options here again, but really those three you should be focusing on, are the ones we've highlighted here in red. And if you do want to read a little more about these topics, this is the article we had referenced earlier. There's a lot of detail in there. You can check it out on our Justia Onward blog, and there's a short link there. So I do recommend, go ahead and check that out to get some more information. Certainly more detail than what we were able to cover today. But just to recap things, so for a new campaign, someone who is just starting out, you probably, want to look into something like a maximize click strategy. That's going to help you to build volume, and ultimately set you up if you do want to try out a smart bidding strategy in the future. And then you have, the more established campaigns. For that, maximize conversions is probably going to be a good strategy for you. You'll get to benefit from, all of the smart bidding information that Google has. You're probably going to see, good performance in the long run with that. And then lastly, for the very large established campaigns, you might want to look into something like maximize conversion value. Again, this can be a good option for very large campaigns that have a high monthly spend and a lot of volume.
All right, so now that we have a grasp on those bidding strategies, let's go ahead and run through the ad text setup. So first things first, we're going to look at the actual creation of your ad. This is the setup page for a responsive search ad. And first thing at the very top, they're going to ask you to input the URL for your landing page in the final URL field. So wherever you want your user to be directed when they click on your ad, that's the URL you want to put there. They also include an option for display path. So this is the URL that's going to show on the actual search results page. We like to use calls to action there occasionally. You'll see in this example, we used recommended in the second part of the display path. It does help, a bit with click-through rates. So something to keep in mind when you're setting up your own ads, you can do something similar. We have an example here of how that display path actually looks on the search results page. So the URL we have highlighted there, that's not the actual final URL. That's the text that you used on the ad setup page for the display path field. And then moving along, as you see here, the responsive search ads, they ask you to input multiple sets of headlines. So you can use up to 15 headlines here. They each allow up to 30 characters. You really just want to fill this out as much as possible. Next one down, you have the descriptions. You can input up to 4 of those, and they have a limit of 90 characters each. And, the goal with including all these different options is that you're giving Google a chance to test different combinations of your headlines and descriptions and to figure out which of those combinations are going to get you the best results. So over time, as they're able to test things out more and more, they're going to end up serving the versions of your ads that perform the best the most often. So the ad text that you put together is really your opportunity to market to that target audience that we spent all this time setting up. So you really want to make the most of it. These examples here are, just a few of the many different types of things that you can highlight within your ad text and descriptions. Free consultation, your firm is 5-star rated, how many years of experience you have, no fee unless you win, featured results. The list goes on and on. Just take advantage of this opportunity to really promote yourself. In some states, there is a requirement by the bar that you have to use the firm name as the first part of your ad when you're doing paid advertising online. So if that's the case, there is this pinning feature that you're able to utilize. For this example in particular with the firm name, you just hit that little pin icon that's next to the headline with your firm name and set it to only show in position 1, and you're all set. Moving forward, whenever your ad is served, that firm name is always going to show in the first position. Just to note, Google's not a huge fan of this because it does limit the number of combinations that they can test when you're serving your ad. But, in some cases like this, you don't have a choice. You just have to go with it. So this is how those headlines and descriptions are going to look on the actual search results page. You have the top NJ family law attorneys and the 5-star reviews are the 2 headlines that Google chose to feature. And then below that, there's a couple of descriptions. Those are just 2 of the 4 that you could have input within the interface. That said, you'll notice there are some other elements that are integrated on this page that are not part of that ad text setup. We'll get into those a little bit more in the next section here. But I do want to just take a moment to recap some of the key points for setting up your ad text. So make sure you're using keywords in that URL display path. Ad text is all about marketing to your target audience. So get creative, make sure that you're using language that appeals to them and is going to get that click. And Google, give Google as many combinations of the headlines and descriptions as you possibly can. Doing so is only going to work in your favor.
So next up here, we have the assets for the ads. These were formerly called extensions. If you've been doing Google Ads for a little while, you probably are more familiar with them as extensions. And that's because just recently, about a month ago, they changed them to be called assets. So as Samantha mentioned earlier, here is that example of the ad. There's a lot more, going on here than just the headlines and descriptions that we talked about. So all these other elements are the ad assets. And you can see that these really do make the ad a lot more attention grabbing. There's a lot more things that could get someone's interest to click on the ad. So the main advice is, use all the assets that you can, take advantage of them. Really think of these as tools to help you get more clicks. Google wants you to get clicks, by the way. That's how they get paid in this situation. So your job is to try and attract high quality clicks and then convert them, so send them to the right place to convert that lead. So let's just go ahead and we'll run through these various assets. So the first is the call asset. So, the call asset is something that is highly recommended to include. Technically, you can't include the phone number within your ad text, but you can add the phone number as a call asset, which is what you see here. There's a mobile version and then also a desktop version. So on mobile, it's really nice. You can just tap that to go ahead and make the call. So very, very nice there, very helpful for conversions. And then we have the image asset. So this one is a little bit newer. You might not see it in your account if you haven't been running ads for very long. Generally, it takes about 90 days before it would show up. But keep an eye out for it because you do want to take advantage of it. So when you do see it, you're going to want to, make sure you provide Google with a photo. They're going to give you the proper dimensions and the file type and all of that stuff. But we really do like this because it allows your Google ad to look a little bit more like an LSA, which of course helps with click-through rate a lot. So some general tips here, you want to make sure you use a single headshot. Typically this is going to be, the main attorney, just a plain background. We have tried in the past submitting a group shot, and a lot of times it just gets rejected by Google. So, keep things simple. The image is pretty small, so you don't want it to be, too distracting. Keep it focused. That's really going to be the best way to go here. Um, and also, like, if you just put yourself in the position of the user, if you are doing a search for an attorney and, you see several ads on the page, but there's, maybe one that stands out with that image asset, you're that much more likely to click on that one. It's just really attention grabbing. So next we have the call out asset. So this asset is, basically a way to help highlight certain offers and features that you have at the firm. So it could be, apply to things like, your record of success, how much experience you have, how many years. So all of those types of things. And like all the other assets that we're talking about today, the purpose here is to help with your click-through rate. And then we have the location asset. So this gives you an opportunity to tie in your Google business profile. It'll display your address as well as, your work hours there, the hours of operation. So highly recommended to do this, especially, when you're targeting people who are nearby your office. This is going to make it, that much easier to convert them. They're going to see that you're located very close by. Then following that, we have the site link extension, asset. So this is going to take people to specific pages, either on your website or your landing page, just depending how you have things set up. And so there's 2 descriptions you can have per site link. These really take up a lot of real estate on the page. So when they do show up, it really catches people's attention. They like to click on these. So definitely you want to include those. And then for this last extension or asset here, we're going to talk about the price asset, and we're going to look at a different ad. So the price asset is, really nice because it can help highlight if you offer a free consultation, for example. You can add 2 descriptions per price entry that you have. So in this example, there's a description above and a description below the $0 entry. Again, a really great way to advertise. You offer free consultations, but you can also use it if, maybe you give pricing up front for, certain services like wills and trusts. Maybe you have flat fees for those. Or maybe you offer $0 down to file for bankruptcy. So there's different ways that you could apply this just depending on your practice area. And lastly, just to sort of, summarize the ad assets here, the key point is really take advantage of all of these assets that you can. Use them as tools to help improve your click-through rate. Now, Google may, not show all of these at the same time. In fact, it's pretty likely they're not. They're going to pick and choose, based on their algorithm and what they, see performs better in terms of getting you a click. But you want to make sure you have them all ready to go. So definitely, make sure you have all of these set up.
The last topic within the basics of setting up a campaign is going to be landing pages. So one of the biggest mistakes that we see is firms pointing their ads to the homepage of their website or a related practice area page instead of going to a dedicated landing page. This does not work. Your website is built for SEO. There's a lot of different distractions that are going on there. When you're paying for that click, you want to make sure that you're bringing the user to a page that is built for conversion. That's absolutely key. So we're going to give you some great examples here on how to build a top-notch landing page for your ads. What we're looking at here, say you're running a campaign for different types of injuries. You're going to want to have a dedicated landing page for each of those specific practice areas that you're targeting. The information on those pages, you want to make sure that it's tailored to the specific practice area that you're going for with your keywords. So the example that we're looking at here, you're targeting general, injury lawyer terms, injury law firms, stuff like that. Then you want to take those users to a general injury landing page. But let's say you're also targeting car accidents. you want to have a car accidents landing page that's specific for that ad group. So they're getting very spot on information there. Same thing if you're running ads for truck accidents, you want a dedicated landing page for that ad group. You're doing ads for medical malpractice, you have a medical malpractice landing page. You get the idea here, but basically you want to make sure that these pages are tailored to the specific keywords that you're targeting with your ad. Let's take a closer look at that injury law landing page. So there's several elements on here that are going to make this a strong landing page. First one is the call to action and phone number that you see up in the header. Next, we have a section with a tagline, had some good catchy marketing language there. Next one down, we have the contact form at the top of the page. This makes it super easy for someone to contact you right when they land on the page. Next, you have some awards and accolades. You also have case results right below that. These are all really great marketing for the firm that are going to make the users more likely to contact you. And then you also have that main headline that's right above the narrative area there. Just another opportunity to really catch the user's attention, work in some good marketing language. From there, we scroll down the page a little bit and you get to these client reviews. These are super important. I would say on any, landing page, website, whatever it is, these tend to be the most looked at sections on any site. So including client reviews on your landing page is an absolute must. If you scroll down even further, you'll see we also include another contact form at the bottom of the page. Really, this is just, one last opportunity for that user to reach out. If they're scrolling up and down the page, it gives them, contact form at the top, contact form at the bottom. They have two different ways of reaching you. And of course, there's also going to be the mobile version of your landing page. This needs to be fast. Preferably, you want it to be AMP enabled. So those are the accelerated mobile pages. Vast majority of your traffic is probably going to come from mobile, so it only makes sense to ensure that you're fully optimized for those mobile searches. Google also gives you the option when you're setting up your ads to include an AMP URL there, just kind of further proving the importance that Google places on having that fast load time with your mobile pages. You'll also notice on mobile that we have the tap to call button at the very top. At least for the Justia landing pages, this sticks at the top of the page as you scroll. So when someone's on their mobile device, it's basically ensuring that they are always one click away from being able to reach out to you. So big thing that ties into both your keywords, ad text, and landing page is going to be quality score. So taking the time to really tailor your landing pages to cover those specific practice areas that you're targeting with your keywords and ad text is really going to help you achieve that high quality score that we're looking for. The reason that we care about this, aside from, higher conversion rates when your ad targets match really closely with your landing page, is that this also helps with lowering your average cost per click. So it's really a win-win. There's a couple things going on here on this particular page. So first, upper left-hand side, you see we have our target keyword. That target keyword, as well as, whatever other related terms are actually being used in that ad text that we see below. So Google, we know that they want to show ads that are most likely to be clicked on. That's how they make their money. So if they think ads not going to be clicked, probably not going to show up at the top of the page. When you have this direct correlation between your target keywords and the ad text, your ad tends to perform better. Then we go this next step in the journey when the user actually clicks on your ad and they get to this landing page. It should be obvious that, that page should also include those target keywords. Everything needs to, line up between those three elements. So, from a user standpoint, if you're looking for, say, a child custody lawyer, you get taken to a page that's covering all kinds of general family law. They're talking about divorce, mediation, prenups, all kinds of different things. Maybe there's one little mention of child custody, but that's not really the focus of the page. Is that person going to call you? It's questionable, maybe not. But when your landing page is specific to child custody and that's all you're talking about on the page, that person's going to be a lot more likely to call you. So that's what we're trying to get at here.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos.